My mother slapped me across the face at my own birthday dinner. Not because I said something horrible, not because I started a fight, but because I asked why my younger brother got a new BMW for his 23rd birthday and I got a used blender for my 28th. In front of 20 guests at an upscale restaurant in downtown Chicago, my mother looked me in the eyes and said, "Because he deserves it, and you don't." Then she slapped me, and that was the moment everything changed. My name is Rachel Morgan. I'm 28 years old, and I just realized my family has been using me my entire life. I should start at the beginning. I grew up in Naperville, Illinois, suburbs of Chicago, upper middle-class family. My father, Thomas, owns a small chain of hardware stores. My mother, Carol, manages them. And then there's my brother, Ethan, 4 years younger than me, golden child, perfect son, could do no wrong. I was the opposite, the responsible one, the helper, the one who got good grades but never got praised for it. When I got straight A's, my parents said, "That's expected." When Ethan got a B+, they celebrated. When I got into Northwestern, they said, "Good, now you can help pay for it." When Ethan got into a state school, they threw him a party and paid for everything. I worked 3 jobs through college, graduated with honors and $30,000 in debt. Ethan partied, failed half his classes, and graduated late. They never said a word. After college, I got a job in a marketing firm in Chicago, started at the bottom, worked my way up. My parents asked me to move back home temporarily to help with the family business. I said yes, because that's what I always did. Temporarily turned into 3 years. I worked at their stores during the day, managed inventory, dealt with difficult customers, fixed problems, and I paid rent to live in my childhood bedroom. Ethan, meanwhile, moved into a luxury apartment downtown that my parents co-signed for. He worked part-time at one of the stores, showed up late, left early, called in sick constantly. Nobody said anything. When I turned 25, I told my parents I was moving out. My mother cried, "How can you abandon us?" "I'm not abandoning you. I'm getting my own place. We need you here. The business needs you. Ethan can help more." My father scoffed. "Ethan has his own life. So do I. We've given you everything, Rachel. A roof over your head, a job, family support, and this is how you repay us?" I moved out anyway. Got a studio apartment in the city, finally had my own space, but the guilt calls never stopped. Fast forward to last month, my 28th birthday. My mother insisted on throwing me a dinner, said she wanted to celebrate, make up for lost time. I should have known better. The restaurant was nice, expensive. My parents invited friends, relatives, Ethan and his girlfriend, but not my friends. Nobody I actually wanted there. Halfway through dinner, my father stood up, tapped his glass. "I want to make a toast to Rachel, who's turning 28 today." Everyone clapped politely. Rachel has always been independent, strong-willed, sometimes to a fault. I felt my stomach tighten. She's made choices we didn't always agree with, moving out, focusing on her career, but we're proud of her, in our own way. My mother smiled tightly, and to show our appreciation, we got you a gift. He handed me a wrapped box. I opened it. A blender, used. I could see the scuff marks. "It's from our house," my mother said. "We're upgrading. Thought you could use it." I stared at it. Someone at the table laughed nervously, and then I made a mistake. I asked the question that had been building for years. Why did Ethan get a BMW for his birthday and I got a used blender? The table went silent. My father's face hardened. That's different. How? Ethan needed a car for work. I need a car for work. You have a car. A 12-year-old Honda that breaks down every other month. My mother leaned forward. "Rachel, this is not the time. When is the time? Because I've been waiting my whole life for you to treat me the same way you treat him." Ethan looked down at his plate. My father stood. "You're being ungrateful. I'm being honest." And that's when my mother slapped me. The crack echoed through the restaurant. I sat there, cheeks stinging, eyes burning. She didn't apologize, didn't look sorry. She just looked angry. "Because he deserves it, and you don't." I stood up, grabbed my coat, and I walked out. I didn't talk to my family for 2 weeks. They didn't call, didn't text, nobody apologized. And I realized something I should have seen years ago. I was never the daughter. I was the backup plan. I threw myself into work, took on extra projects, stayed late, worked weekends, and slowly I started getting noticed. My boss pulled me into her office 3 months after my birthday. "Rachel, I'm impressed with your work. I'm promoting you to senior account manager." I stared at her. "Seriously?" "Seriously. 30% raise, your own team, you've earned it." For the first time in months, I smiled. I called my best friend, Maya, told her the news. "That's amazing. We're celebrating. Tonight, no excuses." We went out, had drinks, laughed, and for the first time in my life, I felt like I was building something that was mine. 6 months later, I got headhunted by a larger firm. They offered me double my salary, a director position. I accepted, moved to a better apartment, started saving money, started feeling like I was finally ahead. And my family? Radio silence. Until one day, my mother called. "Rachel, we need to talk." "About what?" "Your grandfather's estate." I froze. "What about it? Can you come to the house this weekend?" "Why?" "Just come, please." Something in her voice made me uneasy. But I went. I walked into my parents' house on Saturday morning. My father was at the dining table, my mother, Ethan, and a lawyer I didn't recognize. "What's going on?" I asked. My father cleared his throat. "Your grandfather's will is being finalized. There are some complications." "What kind of complications?" The lawyer spoke. "Your grandfather left a trust. It's divided between you and your brother." "Okay, but there's a clause. Both of you need to sign off on any distributions, together." I looked at Ethan. He wouldn't meet my eyes. "Why are you telling me this now?" My mother folded her hands. "Because Ethan needs access to his portion for a business investment." "What business investment?" "A startup. A friend of his is launching a tech company. Ethan wants to invest." I looked at my father. "And you need my signature to release the funds?" "Yes." I sat down. "How much are we talking about?" The lawyer slid a document across the table. $200,000. My grandfather had left us $200,000 each, and nobody had told me. "How long have you known about this?" I asked. My father shifted. "A few years." "A few years? And you didn't tell me?" "We didn't want to complicate things." "Complicate things? This is my inheritance." My mother's voice turned cold. "And now we're telling you. Ethan needs his portion, so we need you to sign." I looked at the papers, at my family, at the lawyer who looked deeply uncomfortable, and I said, "No." My father stood. "Excuse me?" I said, "No. I'm not signing anything until I talk to my own lawyer." "Rachel, this is family." "Exactly. This is family, and family doesn't hide a $200,000 inheritance for years." My mother's face flushed. "We were protecting you." "From what? My own money?" Ethan finally spoke. "Rachel, come on, don't be difficult." I laughed, bitter, sharp. "Difficult? You've gotten everything your entire life, and now you want me to just hand over access to money I didn't even know existed? It's my money, too. Then you can wait for me to review the paperwork, like an adult." I walked out. I hired a lawyer the next day. Her name was Jennifer Park. She specialized in estate law. I showed her the documents my family had given me. She read through them carefully. Then she looked up. "Did you know your grandfather specified how this money was supposed to be distributed?" "What do you mean?" "According to the original will, the trust was supposed to be released to both of you when you each turned 25. No joint signature required." My stomach dropped. "What?" "Your parents altered the terms, added the joint signature clause. Legally, they needed a court order to do that."
"Did they get one?" She flipped through pages. "No, they didn't." I felt my hands go cold. "So they've been sitting on my inheritance illegally?" "It appears so." "For 3 years?" "Yes." I sat back. "Why?" Jennifer looked at me carefully. "I'd need to investigate, but if I had to guess, they've been using the trust as collateral, or they've already spent some of it." I authorized Jennifer to dig deeper. 2 weeks later, she called me into her office. "You were right. Your parents took out loans against the trust, used it to expand their business, and to cover Ethan's expenses." "How much?" "Roughly $80,000. I felt sick. They stole from me. "Technically, yes, but it's complicated. The trust is still intact. They just borrowed against it." "Without my permission?" "Correct." "What are my options?" "You can sue, demand full repayment, dissolve the joint requirement, or you can use this as leverage." I looked at her, and I smiled. I called my mother. "I'll sign the papers, on one condition." "What condition?" "I want full access to my portion, immediately. No joint signature, no restrictions." "Rachel, that's not how the trust works." "Actually, it is. Your lawyer lied to you, or you lied to me. Either way, I know you altered the terms illegally, and I know you've been borrowing against my money." Silence. "So here's what's going to happen. You're going to release my full portion, immediately, and you're going to repay what you took, with interest. We don't have that kind of cash. Then you'll figure it out. Sell something, take out a loan. I don't care. But if you don't, I'm suing, and I'm going public. I'll make sure everyone knows how you treated me." My mother's voice shook. "You wouldn't. Try me." 3 days later, I received a wire transfer. $215,000. My inheritance, plus the interest they owed me. I stared at my bank account, and I cried. Not because of the money, but because I'd finally won. It's been 6 months since I got my inheritance. I haven't spoken to my parents, or Ethan. They tried calling, texting, showing up at my apartment. I blocked them, because I realized something important. Family isn't about blood, it's about respect, and they never respected me. They saw me as a tool, a backup, someone to use when convenient and ignore when not. I used some of the money to pay off my student loans, bought a car that doesn't break down, started investing. The rest, I'm saving, for a life that's completely mine. People ask if I regret cutting them off. I don't, because the moment I stopped waiting for their approval, I started living. My name is Rachel Morgan. I'm 28 years old, and I'm finally free. They called me a failure my entire life, but the only failure was theirs. They failed to see me, and now they never will again.